You all good, fam? All right, let's go ahead and get it. This is Jordan with Conquer Trading in the Markets. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. Getting ready here for our live stream to go ahead and drop that clarity we need to go ahead and stay on top, laser focused of the bull of all bulls. It's what we do and it's who we are. Let's taking a look at Bitcoin trading at 50,335. It's under 55,000 Bitcoin, which is cheap. Let's take a look at it. Before I dive into the technicals, and by the way, how beautiful is it? If you see this trend line over here, the support that broke, right? Jump down to the 15 minutes just so you could see what was happening with me. You could see how this line was tested. We bounced off it once. We bounced off it twice, that trend line support. And then after we took it down, that's when we crushed it. Lots of liquidations took it. This was ugly over here. Lots of liquidations taking place. You could see on the bounce up, it was again that broken trend line support that became resistance. And that's what we need to reclaim in order for this to be looking, let's just say, a little bit cozier. By the way, if you take this line down over here, if I just drop this line down and just put it over there, because that's what we do, we clone lines, right? What do you see over there? You can see, yeah, that for sure, that's where the support held. And if you zoom out a little bit and you look at that, I mean, what do you see? Does that look like a gigantic bull flag to you? You know? Anyway, here we go. Let's take a look at what's going on. Everyone knows what happens across the whole World Wide Web. Tesla suspends vehicle purchases using Bitcoin. The markets were already under pressure with that really hot CPI. All markets were under pressure. And this was just really poor timing on Elon's part. Really poor timing on his part, but let's call it what it is, right? I highlighted the only important part of this little bit of this meme over here, this meme over here, is Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin. Tesla's not selling any Bitcoin. Elon's not selling any Bitcoin. We intend to use it for transactions. We intend to use Bitcoin for transactions as soon as mining transitions to more sustainable energy. Okay, so look, Elon's like, listen, we're not selling Bitcoin, and actually we plan to use it in the future. We all know that Bitcoin headed towards more sustainable energy. Pomp out on CNBC this morning talking about that happening right there. That's what I love. It's not only conquering the markets, by the way. It's the whole Bitcoin community we have to lean on all the time. Adam back over here highlighting, he assumed Michael Saylor was jumping in there to buy the dip. Michael Saylor, the Chad of all Chads over here, MicroStrategy, spending another $15 million, averaging in at $55,387. I told you, $55,000 Bitcoin is cheap, and I stand by it over here as we keep going. And it's not just Adam back, right? Look at over here at Bitstein. Who's Bitstein? They don't care about the environment. They just want your Bitcoins. Bitstein, by the way, is the one who brings us Mission Control over here, the halving tracker, the one who's helped us dialed in and get us laser focused over here. He's also the president of the Satoshi Nakamoto Institute, right? The Satoshi Nakamoto Institute. What is that, you ask? Over here, we have the giants in the space. The giants in the space and everything they've put together to make the Bitcoin, right? The Facebook. I love when I call it the Bitcoin. The giants in the space we have to lean on over here. If you want to go ahead to the Satoshi Nakamoto Institute.org, you can find all the forum posts that Satoshi himself has shared, and it's beautiful. Beautiful stuff over here. Today, on a day like today, we see the whole space coming together. And then look at Plan B, by the way. He's like, look, by the way, Luke, big shout out to Luke, CTM all day long. Elon's tweet, right? Has it reversed the central bank's monetary printing, the uber easy monetary policy we're seeing coming out from the Federal Reserve, the ECB, and all central banks? No. Has it centralized the Bitcoin protocol? No. Has world adoption slowed overnight, causing a network reversal in the network adoption? No. Shall we panic? No. Stock to flow? Yep, still good. We have Plan B pointing out, listen, this is just resembling what happened in the 2013 cycle over here. We got a lot of people shook. By over here. They can't hang. They can't ride. Did they over position themselves? Did you over leverage yourself? Listen, you got to be smart. It's all about risk management. You have to have multiple strategies to ride the bull of all bulls. You have to have, happy birthday, my sweet baby girl. I love you with all of my heart. Happy birthday. It is for you. I love you. You have to have multiple strategies to ride the bull of all bulls. You have to have Bitcoin unleveraged. If you're borrowing against your Bitcoin on a lending platform such as BlockFi or Celsius, you have to do it at the most opportune point. You could always have to be in a position of power. If you're trading with leveraged, make sure that it is lightly leveraged. Make sure you know your places to deleverage. By the way, that does not mean that you go ahead and you deleverage and then you leverage and then you deleverage and then you leverage. You're going to get wiped out over there. You have to be smart. You have to pick your spots and you have to stick to them. You have to be smart to ride the bull of all bulls. It's what we do here together. We work it out each and every day. We don't have the greater Bitcoin community to rely on. We have what takes place in here and everyone involved bringing the fire each and every day. I'm not going to name names right now. There's too many of them. Let me keep going over here. Look, I just enjoyed this, so I have to share it with you. I like them if you want to see the post that I like. And his plan B really just crushing Elon over here. Just crushing. And also the hypocrisy of Elon over here. By the way, blink twice if you're under duress. You saw Preston tweeting out that it looks like some government officials sat down with Elon and was like, listen, whether that's the case or not, it seems to me that Tesla's going to be launching some type of renewable mining product in the future, right? They're creating a problem so they could be the solution, right? But either here, you have over here, this is why Satoshi was anonymous, not to be forced by government to backpedal, right? Over here, you have Jack, right? Bitcoin incentivizes renewable energy. You need the lowest cost of energy. All right, fam, trying to pick this back up over here midstream. How are we doing? Are we back live together? Boom, boom. Let's go, everyone. Boom, 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 boom. Reconnected over here. Want to see if we're reconnected, if we're back picking this up. All right, we got a system restart. We had a big lag. All right, it looks like we're back in real time trying to get some feedback from you all so we can continue, so we can keep going over here together. I'm not sure how much we missed. I'm not sure where we left off. Are we still laggy? Bruce Lee is telling me that we lag. Still a bad stream. We can't go on like this. This is not good. All right. So anyway, we're all clear. Can we get some feedback over here? Can I get some help from all you? Let me know. You know? Still, unfortunately. All right. That's not good. So, what's going on? Still laggy, still unfortunate. Let me go ahead and check the settings over here. I want to get this right. That's too bad. Yeah, Ken's still bringing the heat over there. Way on signal. All right, let's see what we could do over here. We got low latency over here. Let's jump over to ultra low. All right. How about that? Test. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. We're going to keep going over here and see if we could get going. There we go. So listen, I don't know how to come back from that, but you know what? Buffering still. Now nothing. You guys want to hit a refresh? Boom, 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 boom. I'm still with you. I'm trying to figure this out. We've never experienced this type of problem before. But that's what you got to do is work through it. Hold on one second. Let me see if I could change the resolution a little bit, right? Not why I'm going. All right. I'm going to drop out and start again. All right. Good now. We got so good. Alan, I'm going to go with Alan, and I'm just going to keep going. I don't know how much of the session was actually viewable and how much is not, you know. Listen, I felt like what it was, the first 15 minutes over there was so important, right? Was so important, such good stuff over there. I hope it came through. I really did. But if not, we're just going to keep going, right? We're just going to keep going. Yeah. Oh, we missed the whole session, Giles. You know what? What do we do? You guys want to start over from the very beginning? Is that even possible to do? I don't know. Ah, ah, ah. I think this is really hard. I think this was one of my best out of the gate live streams that we've done, talking about so much important stuff. Yeah, please repeat that first 15 minutes. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sign off right here. I'm gonna end this stream over here. I'm gonna restart it from the get. I'm gonna put up the windows that I started with. Yeah. You can watch the replay without lag. There you go, Brad. I'm going to leave it as it was. Thanks, my brother. All right. I don't know where we left off, but I'm going to find a way back in over here. Watch this happen over here. All right. Last thing I was talking about, Brad saying if you want to go back and watch what happened, you could go ahead and do that on the replay. I would not be able to replicate what I did, so I'm going to leave it at that. The last thing that I was talking about was if you're trading lightly leveraged, by the way, you might want to reevaluate if you find yourself trading with too much leverage. Do you expect that we're going to have, by the way, 38,000? I think that, listen, I think that's a pretty good liquidation level, right below 38,000. I've been very clear about that for a while throughout this. Ever since we made the 65,000 peak, I've been very clear about the $38,000 liquidation level. If anyone got liquidated overnight, you're reckless. If you were lowering your deleveraging a little bit, well then you're smart and you did the right thing. There's no question about that. Okay? Now, do you think, what does lightly leveraged mean to you, by the way? A lot of you, and most of you, I have to say, most of those that are involved on the Discord in the Conquering the Markets, or I should say many of you, not most of you, right, are trading without any type of leverage whatsoever. When you hear me say experts only, you understand that's experts only, and you are putting in the time required to get yourself into a position for the next cycle to understand it and be able to take advantage of it, right? That's conquering the markets all day long. Something to think about, though, right? Now, the double wave that occurred in 2013, cycle aside, because the drawdown from that double wave was massive, right? Generally speaking, though, you're not seeing a 50% drawdown during a bull market, right? 32,000. Do you feel good about having a liquidation below that? Is that lightly leveraged? What about a 70 in the bear market? We have never seen below an 85% drawdown on Bitcoin, right? Now, is it smarter to have a liquidation level, right, below the breakout of the bull market? The breakout occurred around $10,000, right? An 85% drawdown over here. Have a liquidation level, below the breakout, the technical break of the bull market. That's still lightly leveraged, well outperforming what you would do on leverage. Things to think about over here today. Things to think about over here. Look, if the lag's back, there's nothing I could do. Apologies for it. I don't want anyone lagging. We got such mixed reviews over here about people seeing the lag. Look, this is the signal right over here. I got to keep going over here because there's so much to share, so much to talk about. If whatever is coming against us over here, well, there's nothing I could do about it. You watch the replay. Watch the replay. Maybe be behind us a couple of minutes on the stream. You got, just like I got to do what I got to do to adapt to whatever situation I'm in. The same thing from your end, whether that means going to the settings and lowering your resolution, maybe down to 480. Or just watching on the replay. If you want to thrive in the markets and you want to be an investor and a trader, you have to learn how to adapt to whatever situation you're in, right? And if you're like, oh, I was expecting a V and I was expecting a V and we didn't get a V, well, you have to learn how to adapt, right? Is the bull market over? Is the bull market over, or are we just shaking out everyone? Is the bull of all bulls bucking over here, right? Let's keep going over here. By the way, what else we got looking at over here? This was the model I was looking at of Reza conquering the markets all day long, right? And showing us the clarity over here as we come back down into the support. I see price consolidating. I see price consolidating after this massive move up. Someone noted, what? Oh, what? Now I'm only up 9x, right? Anyway, let's keep going over here. What about the true trend, right? Do you remember the beginner strategy? You know, and this is done on the 12-hour time frame. By the way, I saw in the Discord, people are looking at this on the 8-hour. You pull up the true trend, right? The BTC true trend, by the way. Take a look at it, right? And look at this. I mean, is this a time to exit? You know, is this an indication that I should get on the sidelines perhaps? Maybe wait for things to improve. Maybe wait for a repair. Maybe a repair, you know, somewhere up above, you know, $58,000 when the market is really start going. I mean, not myself. I'm holding strong. I feel really good about where we are right now. What about this? Look at the true trend over here. We still haven't got across to the downside that would signal, something's wrong. We don't see during the bull market phase the true trend cross to the downside. If you go back and you looked at what happened earlier in the last cycle during the bull market phase, in the 2016 cycle, in the 2017 bull market, and you look kind of where we are right now, back into July, right? You could see the true trend came sharply down also during that consolidation. It came down actually to a reading of 28%. We're about 33% this morning. It's very similar, coming much lower during that last consolidation over here as well, right? Everything looks right on time, looking pretty strong. Just a heads up, if you haven't seen the video, this is on the Bitcoin playlist on the channel. It's one of the earlier videos we did. It was marked at a beginner strategy. You know, it's probably one of the better strategies that anyone could be deploying in the markets. But this is a sign for me over here, just another confirmation. Well, no, I'm not. I mean, there's no indication whatsoever in my mind that this bull market is over. The only thing that I'm seeing here is still a shakeout, and this shakeout is, I mean, it surprised a lot of people. I think Elon's timing was really bad. You know, listen, at the end of the day, we're going to forgive him. You know, we're going to forgive him. We're going to give him a hug. I mean, the guy, though, really not the brightest of the bunch, right? Some people have skills, and some people really just missed the boat. Elon, in this case, really missing the boat over here. Is the model broken? Ian's going to be updating this chart for us soon enough. You could see that we took out the low over here, right? You could see that we took out the low of the V. It's no longer a V, right? Now, you have to understand a model is simply a model. It's something to base your decisions off of, right? Has the model broken because we don't see the same V occur over here, right? You have to make up your own mind, your own decisions. Are you abandoning the 4-year cycle, the model that we've seen over here, because all of a sudden this shakeout became a really bad shakeout because of a tweet by the second richest man in the world who happens to have, let's say, a significant sway over markets, especially from irrational investors, right? So listen, let's see what happens. Right now, the water got really muddied. Someone just did a cannonball into the lake, and right now it kicked up all the dirt. You got to sit back for a second, let the dust settle. Let's see where we are in a couple of weeks, right? Let's see where we are in a couple of weeks. By the way, we're significantly higher than that $43,000 level over here. It's a possibility. It's not probable. I don't think it's going to happen. It looks like this liquidation over here, this wick over here, is probably the low. It took a lot of stops down over here from last week's low of 47,000. A lot of pain, a lot of hurt. It's genuinely, this could be the catalyst that actually gets us out of this consolidation, this 3 months range we've been in, right? You gotta sit back. You got to let the dust settle over here. We got an enormous team over here. And I'm not just talking about, plan B aside. I mean, plan B and everyone else out there. We have over here, right, on conquering the markets, we got Ian and Ted putting out massive work over here. Already these two this morning, you know, overnight, communicating, working out what needs to be done. Let me pull up Ted's model over here. Give me 1 second as we get going over here. We had a restart on the computer. We got some technical difficulties, but you know what? You got to be able to thrive whatever's thrown at you. So let me go ahead and just throw up Ted's indicator over here. Boom. And then let me just put it ahead the settings over here. I had this obviously all prepared for us, you know, but a restart is a restart. There we go. Prior all-time high. Coming into real time over here. What I'm getting at right now, right, as we see over here, again, look, it's different, but it still rhymes very strongly. It's a model. There's no indication whatsoever to me that the 4-year model is even close to breaking, right? All I'm seeing over here during this V shape, you know, that normally occurs is a massive shakeout over here. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see what happens over the next week. Let's see if we have a strong recovery. If we have a strong recovery, I mean, that's a clear sign that we continue right? Ian and Ted working this out over here together. Brad also, I hope this is Brad's chart pulling up over here. Again, everything was sidelined. We were speaking about this during our training session, Brad and myself over here, and we were talking about what happens if we break down over here from this trend line. Now, Brad has pointed out, listen, we had a similar event occur. This was before this happened, by the way. Brad pointed out in 2013, we had a similar shakeout that occurred over there. It's possible that line breaks over there. But what we talked about was, listen, it could break, but what's important is when it comes in for the retest, right? And we're coming in for the retest now, right? If we come in for the retest and that broken trend line support now acts as resistance and we resume down off of it, that to me is an indication that I'm probably going to get on the sideline over here. Something is very, very wrong. When I talk about the sideline, I mean on my overall position, right? Amply up, right? I started to accumulate whatever. Something's not right. Listen, I don't know if that part was shared in the Conquering the Markets training video from this week or if it was part of the additional 10 to 15 minutes, but I'll be making sure to share it with all of you inside the Discord soon. Me and Ian spoke together yesterday for about 90 minutes looking at models. It was absolutely fantastic. I learned so much. It was incredible, but we also talked about what our risk would be to the downside. Again, before the dip happened, if we were to take out the $43,000 level, what that will mean for the model. We have right now the whole team working together to continue to make sure that we stay focused and on top of the market and on the most important trade that matters, right? Right now, the worst thing that you could do is make irrational decisions, right? What's an irrational decision? Well, without sticking to your plan, you're just kind of shooting from the hip. It's the worst thing that you could do. You have to have a plan and you have to stick to it. I heard Brandon say that yesterday in the Discord. By the way, Brandon, Heath, I cannot thank you enough for all of the work that you put out to the whole community. You guys are absolutely legends. Legends, you know? Either which way, what I'm getting at over here and what's the most important for me thing to say is, listen, that was an anomaly, what just happened, right? Is the model broken? No. Are we gonna keep focused and continue to make sure that we stay on the right side of the trade? Of course we are. All right, let's keep going over here. Let me come back over here. I want to put back in my trend line over here. We got a little messy. I got a little bit out of play. Just give me 1 second. That whole interruption threw me for a loop. And I want to come back and bring this trend line up, not from where it is now, but up where we had it. So I'm going to go ahead and clone this up over here. And I'm going to bring it up right over to here, right? We got to get back above this in order for us to like take a breath and be like, oh, okay. You know what, Jordan? It's not a V. Jordan was completely wrong. What I was looking for to unfold did not unfold. No question about it. By the way, the first time, you know, since we started riding this train together, that that there's a bit of a hiccup here. That's fine. Look, I'm going to call it as it is. I was completely wrong over there. I was looking not only for a V, I was looking for a quick recovery. It didn't happen. No question about it. I was wrong, And by the way, anyone who wants to go ahead and tweet at me and be like, V, quit, you're wrong, go ahead. Give it to me. I can take it. I'm a big boy. No question about it. Nevertheless, that's not gonna dissuade me. I'm gonna keep my blinders on. I'm gonna keep my focus and make sure that I either stay positioned as I want to be positioned, or if I'm gonna have to get on the sidelines and say, wait, something's wrong. But right now, there's nothing wrong over here. By the way, we're looking at a 30% drawdown. Oh, strategy number 2, we're looking for multiple 30% drawdowns during the bull of all bulls. Actually, not only are we looking for it, I saw how many people from Conquering the Markets were leaning into that yesterday. They were as calm and as cool and as collected as you can be. Now, if someone was trading over leverage, of course, they were a mess and they're a disaster and they're probably very salty right now. But listen, you live and you learn. You live and you learn. You got to be under control. And lightly leveraged means lightly leveraged, right? Anyway, let's keep going over here. What are we looking at now? I want to see us regain this broken trend line over here. I want to see if we could regain that level. It's coming in right now. Let's call it somewhere around $52,000. 51,800. I don't know that this spike down is over yet. I don't know whether or not we see another rapid sell-off taking out the low of this spike over here. Be prepared for it if it happens. Be mentally prepared and make sure that you're not yet in a rush to reposition in. By the way, if you want to play it smart and you want to wait for a breakout over here above this top level that is going to be sending this, in the greater scheme of things, as we look at $55,000 Bitcoin being cheap, if you're on the sidelines now playing it safe for this $8,000 move, towards the end of this bull market, we're going to be seeing 8 and 10 and 20,000 and more dollar moves happening daily. So if you think that this is an important part to be involved in over here, no. If you're unsure, the best thing you can do is wait for the repair, wait for the momentum to be going your way, and then get into it. Looking back, and for sure, this is an anomaly in the model, right? Was it caused by Elon's tweet? There's no question about it. How many Twitter followers does he have? An enormous amount. Does the whole media cover everything he says? Yep. There's no question about it. Did his tweet, with the pressure, with the pressure of the markets overall, not just Bitcoin, right, but overall the markets yesterday? By the way, Nasdaq recovering from the CPI yesterday, already up 1% today. We'll get into that later. The dollar unchanged. I want to see whether or not it's regained back into that bear flag or if it was rejected by the resistance. I want to look at it all. But what I'm getting at over here is right now, if you're playing patient and you're waiting here to see the repair and the momentum going back our way, good. That's smart. The fear of missing out, could be on the upside and it could also be on the downside. You don't have to worry about the noise. And if you step back for a second, that's all noise right there, right? But look at this. This is our trend line. Boom. Are we waiting for something like this right now? Boom. Is that going to be sharp? And I'm going to be like, oh, well, I was wrong, but look what happened. Maybe. We'll see. Do you remember when I told you, for those that watch each and every day? By the way, if you're watching and you made it through, do we have anyone watching? I don't even know. We do. We have 2,000 people in here. If we only had 5 people in here, rest assured, I would be sharing this with the same quality that I would be for 2,000, because I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it to make sure that I stay focused, that I understand what's going on, and I have that situational awareness to do legendary things. And if you think it's easy to do legendary things, you're completely misguided. You're completely misguided, It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of dedication. And most of all, it takes showing up each and every day and putting the work in. I told you a while ago, I'm going to just go to a daily chart over here. This is important Pay attention. Let's get going over here. When the market looked like this, okay, we have a lot of stuff going on over here. I'm tempted. I'm going to pull up a different chart. I'm going to pull up, let's see if I can pull up this one. Bear with me here. You know what? You got to enjoy. You got to enjoy. All right, here we go. And by the way, as Price takes out $65,000, and Price is going to take out $65,000, we're all going to sit back and we're all going to enjoy it. And we're going to be like, you know what? When it counted, we were there together and we pulled through and we worked through. If anyone tells you 6 months from now you got lucky, you know the truth. There's no luck involved here. This is hard work. This is research. This is education. This is the real deal over here, right? But those people that missed out, right? Those people that weren't informed, those people that you told over and over and over again, you have to buy Bitcoin. You have to buy Bitcoin. You have to learn and educate yourself and understand why I'm telling you to buy Bitcoin, chose not to, and they're just like, yeah, you got lucky. You know the truth. There's nothing easy about riding the bull of all bulls. Over here, when Price was roughly, let's call it around $18,000 to you, I brought to your attention that soon what you're going to see is what happened over here. You're going to see Price when in the previous cycle, as Price just took out the previous all-time high, and this is what the chart looked like, that soon it was going to look like this. And it's going to be a small blip. A small blip. And Price, and if we fast forward to real time, Price is not yet a small blip. It's a lot smaller than it was when I brought that to your attention around $20,000. It's a lot smaller, but it's not yet a small blip. It's still a pretty big blip. That blip is soon going to be small in relation like this. That's how it's going to look on your chart soon enough. If you don't think that as we take out $65,000 over here, or even better, as we break out, as we hit the launch ramp over here, if it's going to look something like this looking back, you're missing it. That little bit of perspective is so helpful. By the way, it's not like I'm pointing it out to you for the first time now. I pointed this out to you well in advance. Just as we looked at the 4-year cycle, as Price was $8,000, $9,000 and projected where we would be today, and here we are. Just trying to make sure everyone keeps the focus needed over here to understand that, yes, there was an anomaly. We took out the bottom of the V. That has never happened before in the previous cycles. Is the model broken? Not even close, in my opinion. Not even close. Now, if we trade down, right, and all of course, there's the potential for the model to break. Is this the moment in time off of Elon's tweet to say the model has broken? Not even close. Actually, the only thing that has happened, and you could see it if you could see it, right? Everyone's following, everyone, the Bitcoiners in the industry, all of us together collectively, everyone is so bullish, and you're following the people, by the way, who have a history of being correct. You're not following Peter Schiff, who's been so far on the wrong side of the trade, it's ridiculous. You gotta follow people who have a history of being correct. Stay with them. Let's take a look at what's going on across some other markets over here. I want to focus what's going on in the dollar after yesterday's price action. I want to focus in on that bear flag and see what happened, right? It's tough to say right now. The waters right now, by the way, are a little murky, right? I gotta give it a little time for the dust to settle. I want to go ahead and just put a trend line over here and try to tighten this up over here. I'm going to come from the low over here, and then I'm coming over here. Let's see what's going on. It looks to me that we've broken above it, but whether or not we hold or reject it over here, I have no idea. It's too soon for me to call it. I don't know what's going to happen. We will see by the rest of today's trading day and into tomorrow's trading day. By the way, where are we in the month? Is it non-farm paper? No, we're in the middle of the month. I don't know. Okay, and guess what? Is really strong to understand that you don't know. You don't have to know with absolute certainty or clarity all the time. All you want to do is manage your risk, have risk levels to set it off. Right now, we're coming in for a test. We could be rejected. We could actually get back into this bear flag. I don't know. What about gold, right? Let's take a look at gold. you know what? I have to say that gold's holding up pretty well. Gold really needs to break outside of this trend line over here, these outer trend lines over here, for me to say, it looks like we're going to be under pressure. That's not happening. Gold is holding its own. What about silver? Let's take a look over here on silver. You know, that similar trend line that we see on gold, you could definitely clearly see also occurring on silver. I'm going to just go off of this touch right over here, right? And we're well above it. If we trade below it, what maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll take profit over here and then see what happens into this 25.75 support. Maybe if that trend line break, that would signal to me that something's wrong. We'll see. Not really too concerned about it. What about the equity markets? Let's take a quick look over here, right? So the S&P, we put this line of support in yesterday. It's holding so far. A break below it, then we're going to see a bigger correction over here. Like stabilize the stream. That's true. That's true. Like stabilize the stream. I appreciate each and every one of you today for smashing the down thumbs button. Lots of love. I'm grateful for your support of the channel. Thank you so much. You know, what about the Nasdaq over here? Listen, Ethan, there's a lot who no one knows. No one. The signal is what was pointed out earlier in his tweet, in his meme. He pointed out that Tesla is not selling their Bitcoin and that they will use it for transactions again. Listen, Bitcoin is not meant to be used for transactions in the first place. Oh, but Jordan, the white paper says a peer-to-peer cash system. Listen, understand what, anyway, we're not getting into that right now. We're not getting into that right now. What about the Nasdaq? Nasdaq's still under pressure over here. The aggressive line over here, right? That hasn't been broken. We're testing it now as resistance. That's a highly aggressive move, by the way. This is the sure shot over here, waiting for a break of that trend line. Nasdaq bouncing up 1%, still under pressure, right? S&P looking healthier, right? When I say S&P looking healthier, it's because it never broke below that line of broken resistance, which is now holding as support. Nevertheless, still a very sharp correction here that took place on the S&P 500. It's sometimes best to sit and observe. When there's clarity, it's time to attack. When like all of a sudden a herd is spooked and it's like scattering, that's not the time for the predator to attack and just to run aimlessly shooting from the hip, right? That's not how you do it. All right, what else are we looking at? What else are we looking at over here? Bitcoin also well under pressure. Well, we have to regain this trend line over here, this midline over here, to be looking a little bit better, to be able to take a breath, right? Right now, you should be calm, cool, and collected, especially if you are holding Bitcoin without any type of leverage whatsoever. And I just want to reiterate something that I've been focused on for so long. You have to approach the bull market with multiple strategies, right? Which means holding on to Bitcoin unleveraged, which could mean for you also borrowing against Bitcoin at opportune opportunities to buy more Bitcoin. Again, experts only. And it could mean trading with light leverage. But if you don't understand what lightly leveraged means, and you don't understand how to manage your liquidation levels, or if you find yourself like continually deleveraging and then adding leverage and deleverage, you're not picking your spots correctly. You're trading off of too high of a time preference. You need to lower your time preference. When I lower my time preference, when I go to the daily chart, by the way, and I look at this chart, there's no way that I could find fault with it. There's no way. It looks super, because I have this understanding I have of the 4-year cycle, right? And understand that what happens at this particular time of the 4-year cycle, I feel even more confident. Cardano's running. Jeanette, Cardano's running and holding up strong and looking good today. It's up 15%, right? It's off. Is it off its all-time high or close to it? I don't know. Check out all-time high today. What do you mean, what about Cardano? It's roaring and it's beautiful. And this would not be happening if it were not for Bitcoin, the rising tide that lifts all boats. And as Bitcoin goes into its bear market, watch what's going to happen to alts. We were talking with Ian. It was such a great conversation. We were talking with Ian and about how Ethereum mirrors exactly Bitcoin's 4-year cycle and whether or not there would come a time and place when Ethereum broke away from that. When Ethereum reached some type of adoption where it broke away from Bitcoin's 4-year cycle and Bitcoin was no longer that rising tide that lifts all boats. And my opinion on that was, listen, the time at which Bitcoin actually reaches, whether or not you want to call it hyper Bitcoinization, a super cycle, but breaks away from the 4-year cycle, that's probably going to be when Ethereum does as well. That's just my opinion. So, Brandon, lots of love to you, my brother. Lots of love and a big hug. All right. Brandon, Brandon's got, everyone, Brandon needs a hug. He's got, the free world has got him so shook. Look at him. He can't, listen, there's a lot of people. Brandon, by the way, crypto trades and tech, conquering the markets all day long, had everyone positioned in very low over here into Cardano and continues to ride that strong. There's no question that everyone here, as Cardano makes a new all-time high, could pause for a second and enjoy that because they did the work and they held strong. A lot of people on this channel, after Brandon, I think it was Brandon for sure, who definitely brought it to my attention, but a lot of people got positioned in over here in this 20-30% area, and then the baton was handed to Brandon. Listen, if you're interested and you want to focus in it, make sure you subscribe to Crypto Trades and Tech. Make sure he's hyper focused in on it. He's leading the way. Follow the work he's doing. It's absolutely fire stuff over there. So if everyone wants to take a second to enjoy it, they can enjoy it in times like this. In times like this, what during the Bitcoin bull market over here? The halfway stretch to the big, yeah, in times like this, it's all good. All right. What else are we looking at? Let me see what's going on in FX today just to see the reaction. FX is kind of unchanged. All I'm doing is looking at percentages, and I see that almost everything is unchanged. Almost everything is unchanged. You could see that nothing's even up 0.5%. When you see something up 1% in FX, that's a pretty big move. We're seeing almost everything unchanged. There's not much signal that we could focus in on over there. I have to check on what's going on with the 10-year after yesterday's big move up, and we'll see. It's, again, that's the most important posture to have today. The analogy is someone just did a cannonball. That someone happens to be the second richest man in the world. This is coming off of the uber hot CPI print yesterday. The markets were kind of really uncertain. There was major uncertainty yesterday. And then the guy, who's under investigation by the SEC for market manipulation, who's probably trying to set up a problem of Bitcoin renewable mining that Tesla could find the answer to, comes out with this tweet that totally muddies the water. He's like cannonball. He jumps into the lake and kicked up all the mud and dirt. And then you look in the water and you're just like, that's muddy. You know what? Let me stand aside for a second and wait for that to settle so we could get a better look at what's going on. And that's the most important posture to have today. All right. So what else? I don't want to stop talking because when we get online together and we stream, the price of Bitcoin goes up, right? So, if I have to keep talking until Bitcoin regains this trend line, then maybe we got to do that. I say that in jest, but it's fun. And you got to have fun. You got to keep a positive attitude. I'm watching this over here. When I say that I'm watching what happens, I'm watching what happens on the retest and if we resume off of it. But more importantly, I'm connecting into my team and I'm going to see how Brad views what happened. It's Brad's model. It's an exceptional model, one of the most important models. And I do with the highest probability I could offer, right? Believe that in a very, very relative short amount of time, Bitcoin will have regained this trend line over here and it'll be business as usual. The model has not broke over here or anything like that. I will be deferring to what's going on. I know that Ted and Ian were working together this morning, looking at how they could add price action to this model. I am so interested in their work. By the way, I mean, Brandon and Heath, if you're following what they're doing all the time on their channels and inside the Discord, the wisdom that they're imparting is absolute fire, and probably one of the most important things that I've seen going on. I hope Brandon does a video on it as he's talking about at this particular time of cycle, how he's taking profits from his alts and positioning into Bitcoin, and he's putting up his Bitcoin allocation, and he has a target of rising that I think he said towards 70%. That, I mean, that is such fire. It is such that deserves not only a video. I mean, everyone needs to have Brandon on talking about it over here. Why? Is because you've seen me over the last couple of weeks or the last 10 days talking about how closely I'm watching over here. It's going to load. We got a little bit of lag, but I'm sure it's going to load over here. Look, loading. I feel like I'm back, on AOL, on dial-up, Did you ever have to wait 4 minutes, 5 minutes just for your internet connection to connect? Probably not most of you, but I did. I lived through that time. I know what it's like. It's okay. What I've been watching over here is the Bitcoin dominance, and at this particular time of cycle. And if you go back and you looked at what was happening, this is where we are today, right? This is exactly right now. By the way, Bitcoin dominance should be rising. It's about 44%. Last time it was 44%. It's almost with a few weeks different where we were back in 2017. Brandon is preemptive of that. Brandon is expecting Bitcoin over here over the next couple of months to start outperforming on this leg up before the massive peak of alt season, right? So he's been raising his Bitcoin allocation. He's taking profits from alts and he's positioning in, not chasing momentum, but being preemptive of momentum. And it's just absolutely a beautiful work of art. And you saw me put in Discord yesterday, the three fire when he talked about what he was doing and why. It's absolutely beautiful. You got mail. Look, I take the chart of Bitcoin off and price comes down. Look at that. We got to keep it focused over here. Listen, I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to play some head snack and I'm going to see where that brings us over here today. All right. Working through what we needed to work through today. And that was, again, you have to be able to adapt. There's no way you could thrive without adapting. Look at this. AOL.
Markets, analyzing the charts, hitting projected targets within the margin. Find the flow, sip the matcha, and wait for the waves to come in with lobsters. The kind-hearted Jordan Fosters, working smarter, not harder to move the markers. On his way to conquer, trading and investing, drinking the coffee while reflecting on the blessing. The markets are not crashing, the prices might be slashing just to pretend they're in fashion. Hit the like button, comments, and smash it. Boom, boom, Jordan in the room. Grab the bull by the horns and to the moon. Throw from the plateau, make the play. Boom, boom, it's a taco day.
It's a taco day. It's a taco day.
All right. So listen, a couple of important things. First one, if I'm talking about Brandon, and he's not all at once taking profits on his alts and putting in that 70% allocation into Bitcoin. Now I'm going to let Brandon describe it for himself, exactly how he's doing it. Actually, I encouraged him, please make a video on this. This is so important. But what he's doing is working that allocation up towards 70%. He is letting his traders run. He is pushing his winners. But when he hits those predefined take profit levels that he has, he is taking some profits and slowly building up that allocation. When you're looking at what's happening right now, and I'm just going to show it between Ethereum and Bitcoin, by the way, right? When we're getting towards what, and again, we were preemptive of it, right? But when we're looking at, let me zoom in over here. When we're looking towards this, this occurs in a how many days is this, right? This is 20 bars. This is 20 days that this massive 100% move occurred in the peak of alt season over here. How many days are we into it right now? I don't know if it started here or if it's starting up here, but either way, we're potentially only about halfway through it or less, right? We could spike up. I have it, just as a roadmap over here towards 0.13. And by the way, that would be, I don't think that we actually take out the last cycle's all-time high. Of course it could happen. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but what I'm saying is probably we don't take out that last all-time high. Probably we continue to peak out over here. And you're right, PD Capital, right? You don't want to cut your winner short, especially during the peak over here when you could put in the majority of your profits. You do want to be watching the price action very closely. I spoke about it yesterday, and I said, look, you could even use the daily time frame, and without making the lower low, there's no way you should be exiting that, right? That hasn't happened yet. It could happen, But either which way, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page of it. There was another important question over here talking about the CPI print yesterday. I'm trying to pull it up, and it was saying what Bitcoin is supposed to be an inflation hedge, right? Bitcoin is a lot of things to a lot of people, by the way. It's a lot of different things to a lot of people. But, some people view it as an inflation hedge. I think it's more appropriate. You've seen the work people have put out saying, actually, it's more of a hedge against the irresponsible monetary expansion of the central banks. And if you put a Bitcoin chart near the central bank's expansion of their monetary supply, well, that matches up pretty well. Is Bitcoin an inflation hedge? Of course it is, right? Bitcoin is something that holds on to its value, is actually appreciates in value in time. Laura, the price goes up, right? And as you're losing purchasing power of the dollar, of course it's an inflation hedge. But what happened yesterday was a surprise hot print, and the market and the participants, they overreact. That's what people do. It's what algos do. They overreact and they're like, oh, they're going to be raising rates. They're going to be raising rates. And then you saw the markets whoa, caught off surprise. Again, the markets are retracing that already, right? The markets are already retracing that. It was an overreaction. And now we're going back up towards the mean. But even though this is beautiful artwork right here, it's so clean and it's such a good guide, right? So does that mean that the Fed is going to raise rates because there was one hot inflationary print? Well, what did Jerome say? Jerome is telling us we know that we're going to have a hot print and it's going to be transitory. It's going to be temporary. And that's true. It is going to be, but it's never going to come back down. It's just going to level out. And then it's going to be like, oh, see, everything's corrected until the next big move up. And you're going to continue to lose your purchasing power, right? But what Jerome is saying, he's a magician. Look over here, right? What he's saying is, well, listen, I care. I'm the greatest cause of inequality in the world, the fractional reserve banking system and the central banking system. I am the great, but guess what? I have a new mandate. I now care about inequality, right? Look, here's a photo op, me on the street taking a photo with someone. I care about this guy. Actually, I'm not going to raise rates until the jobs come back. Knowing full well that his policies are causing the jobs to go away permanently. They're never going to come back. The government is paying people to stay home. It's called UBI, Universal Basic Income. It's being implemented and it's starting at the bottom and it's eating away at the middle class. Is Bitcoin a hedge against that? Every single person here knows that. That's why you're here, right? So anyway, where were we? Some really good questions. Some really good questions, by the way. Thank you, Max. Each and every one is so important for me. Listen, I wish this morning we didn't have that little bit of rough waters with what was going on with the delivery. I hope that if you missed that beginning 15 minutes, that you do watch the replay. I think it was one of the best opening sessions we've ever had. It was good stuff. And if you missed it, I would do watch that. There we go. Mike, if you got the lag, start watching behind a couple of minutes so it catches up. We'll see, listen, Viva Mexico. It's what we have to deal with. We the internet service providers, whether or not they'll be able to do anything about it today or not, I have no idea. But listen, I'm here. Been following Brandon for months. Good stuff and better every stream. Love the stream with Alan Au. Out of love, Alan AU, my boy. And yeah, and Heath too. Such important stuff, such important work they continue to put out. I absolutely love them both. There you go. Glad you're here with us, brother. So what else are we looking at? This is what I see, Brandon, talking about Ethereum consolidation incoming. And the timing of that, again, when you're seeing these blow off tops that occur, is Ethereum into a blow off top? Well, it could go much higher before it does. But yeah, look, if you go back to previous cycle, what he's talking about is during the last cycle, if you go back to where we were during the 2007, Ethereum consolidated for a long time at this particular point. Right now, we're in July, back in 2017. That's where we are. And then Ethereum actually wound up consolidating for months after that massive move it put in. Look, it rhymes. It's not the same. Is it a guide? Or do you think this time's different and that Ethereum is just going to skyrocket up towards $19,000, $20,000? It's up to you. This looks like the trajectory here is pretty high. It's it's massively high. Whether or not it's peaked or continues to peak out, well, that's another story. I don't know. If you're timing that, by the way, look, you could just always go with the little bit of a trend line over there. Let me put that up. Look, that spike below it that you're looking at, that's because of Elon. That spike below is because of Elon. It's closing above it today. So I would just consider that a spike below, not a breach or an exit or anything like that. And Ethereum looks like it continues to regain its footing over here. All right. What else? Thanks, Giles. I appreciate you so much, brother. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. You are my family. I look at you and think of you all as family. You're all very important to me. Look, Kenneth, pull back. You change it down to 480. Move back on the stream and don't watch us in real time. You got to do whatever you do. You got to do whatever you got to do. So that's awesome, Chase. Chase, that's awesome, my brother. I know the information sometimes comes a little bit fast. I also know those that invest their time here daily, they're not only able to keep up, they're probably even ahead of me at points. They know what I'm going to say before I say it. And Chase, you're going to be there. There's no question if you put in the time, you're going to reap the fruits. There's no question about that. What else are we looking at today? Lawrence, big shout out, my brother. All right. Did we cover? Thank you, Brad. I'm so interested, Brad. By the way, Brad's model, in my opinion, is going to be more important. It's going to be the most important model in the whole space. You all watch. Those of that you saw the training video on Tuesday, just you already understand that. But either which way, Brad, thank you. Thank you, Ted. Thank you so much for all the work that you could continually put in. Ian, thank you for working so closely with Ted and for all the work that you put in. Michelle, thank you for being you and the love that you spread to the community. You all are absolutely essential. The only reason that we get to enjoy all the hard work we put in is because we get to share it together. So what else? Brad's on it. Ted and Ian are on it. Brandon is on it. Heath, we need to do a live stream together. Conquering the markets to the core. And it's not just those names I put, it's every single one. Danny, thank you for stepping up to help out as a moderator. Stefano, Pure Vita, Lemmy, each and every one of you. Cameron, thank you so much for all you give. By the way, the more you give, the more you receive. The more you give, the more you receive, right? If you want to love, pour out love, and you're going to receive love. It's how it works. No, forget Tesla, Mark. Tesla? No. Forget Tesla. So what else? Could you go back to over Jack's responses? I didn't see it. I lost everything that I had prepared as we went through all of this. I don't have the tweet where we were talking about, it came off of Plan B, by the way, right? If you want to find it, just go down to Plan B over here. You can see over here, right, where you see Jack pointing out that Bitcoin incentivizes renewable energy. By the way, my boy Marty Bent on Tales from the Crypt is going to be dropping a podcast today. If you want to understand Bitcoin and the energy, I'm going to be listening to that pod today. There's no question about it. Listen, the whole community itself just continue. We have this massive hive mind. It takes place here on a different level in CTM, and it's our home, but it's also taking place as a collective through everyone in this space. Michael Saylor, the Chad of all Chads, and he's the one who made the analogy of the hive mind, right? And that's what it is. And Elon, he can't stand a chance. But we know what Elon was doing. We know that Elon was just trying to set up a problem that he could solve the solution to. Do you think Elon already was like, yeah, that's true. Bitcoin incentivizes renewable energy. But at the same time, whether it was someone from the government that sat down Elon, or whether or not he was feeling pressures from his board and or shareholders who were like, listen, Tesla's supposed to be like this renewable energy company. And a lot of people have this like false impressions of Bitcoin and the power it wastes. Could you compare the power of the Bitcoin network to what it takes for the US military to keep the US dollar as the reserve currency of the world? How come no one's talking about that? How come no one's talking about the I can't even say hundreds of thousands, because it's more, of innocent lives the U.S. military, and by the way, to each and every one of you that are serving and have served, God bless you and thank you for your service. We are following orders and we are serving our country. And without you, we would not have the freedom that we do have today, right? And the U.S., by the way, if the U.S. falls, the whole world goes with it. We're the last man standing. We're grateful for you. I'm talking about the industrial military complex. That's what I'm talking about right now. And what the amount of energy they expand to defend the US dollar. Come on, Elon, what's going on, brother? You really went from someone who was really greatly admired in one tweet to a joke. And that's really what a lot of people think of you today, as a joke. Because that's what you are. You're just nothing more than a joke. True. Yeah, I know we got some Tesla fanboys in here, and that's all fine, and that's all great, and you could continue to be so, but I call it as it is, and nothing more. So what else? That's right. There's the word I'm looking for, disingenuous. And I don't like disingenuous. You all know that from the time you spent with me over this last year and a half. Whether it's someone telling you to hold on to your milkshake, or whatever, or someone putting on a paper hat telling you that this is the $4.1 trillion expansion of the Fed balance sheet is deflationary. Whatever the case may be, I'll call it out all day long. And if it happens to, thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. All right, let's play some honeymoon vocals and see if we're going to come back and spend some more time. let's look at this for a second anyway, just for a little bit of a, look, this was a breakout to the upside outside of this triangle. A breakout to the upside. It came in, let me focus on the 8 hour, that's the 3-day, right? Let's just move this to the, it came in for the retest and resumed off. That's an entry right there, right? Once you break down on the downside over here, hold on one second. Let me just draw in a trend line really quick, just so we have that little bit of a precision over there, right? Once you break down over here and resume, here's the breakdown, the retest, and then the resumption off. Once you're breaking down right over here below the support, there's that, hold on, I want to focus in on it. Right over there, right below there, that's where you have to get out of this long entry. If you took this long entry, this is where you're wrong. This is where the trade is falling apart, and you have this little bit of a fake out leading to a breakdown. There's, I don't know, Tesla's looking like pretty weak over here. We'll see what happens. Maybe Elon's going to have to be selling more Bitcoin in order to make sure that Tesla continues to bring in profits. And yes, Tesla has made more money buying and selling Bitcoin than it ever has selling cars, right? It makes all its money from what? Government subsidiaries. So if the government is like, hey, Elon, back off for a second on this whole Bitcoin stuff, then Elon is going to be like, yes, okay, master, yes, okay. Right? Or maybe Elon is like, okay, you know what? Tesla's going to get into this whole renewable mining stuff. We're going to launch a product here. We're going to be doing our own thing here. So I got to get everyone talking about this. I'm going to put this tweet out, and then you're going to see at some time in the future, Tesla step in and provide the solution. It's one or the other, but Elon's not an idiot. He understands what's going on, and he understands that Bitcoin is an incentive towards renewable energy. So I guess there was a little more over there. This is the most disliked episode that we've ever put together. Thanks for sharing it, everyone. Glad to be sharing it with you. You know, what else? Thank you, everyone. Let me check the price of the corn over here. You know, Bitcoin doing its best to reclaim levels. It's still got some work to do, right? So is that clarity for anyone else besides me as we move down this trend line over here? As we had our clone trend lines, we put it up here as the reason. And does everyone see how clearly that's in play? Continues to be in play. Does everyone see clearly this massive bull flag that's developing after this massive move up? You know, I see it. Is what I'm focused in on, and all I like to do is just make some observations and share what I've learned in the markets and to share it with you all together. So again, Alan, I don't even know what I said. I've never seen a reaction from Alan like that before. Oh, but listen, always listen to the wives. Always know. The wives always know. There's no question about it. Anyway, I think we covered what we're gonna cover today. I really think we did it. I think we're walking away feeling pretty good, you know. And listen, to each and every one of you that was able to stay on that bucking bull, the bull of all bulls, get on you, you know. I'm really glad to be doing it with you all. It's a really good time because we're really early. The majority of this bull market's going to play out in the last 35 days. The majority of the gains of this bull market are going to be taking the rocket ship. From the rocket ship to the peak is where you're over here, right? I thought we were at the bottom. I guess we made a lower low. I thought this is lagging a day behind, by the way. I thought we were at the low of the parabolic move over here. I was very wrong. That was not a V, and it was not quick. There's no question about it, right? But whether or not we're, you know, on the greater scheme of things, we're still at the bottom, right? And if you're talking about, oh, Jordan, well, you said this breakout over here at 50,500, right? That was the breakout. That was the. Let me break this up a little bit. Bing, bing, bing. Right? Jordan, this is like the entry over here, right? Oh wait, we're above that right now as we speak. We're right there right now. listen, lower your time preference. You can't get, if it was that easy, come on. You know, it's nothing easy about it. It takes a lot of hard work. We're doing our best to stay on the right side. Thank you, Heath. We got to get together. I don't know. We got to get together. We got to work together. We got to put together a stream. Really want to work with you, my brother. Thank you always for the support. Heath has been here since day one. Heath, thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you for your friendship, you know. But over here, you know, look, you got some time to get it together. If you made some mistakes, you have some time to get it together, preparing yourself here for liftoff. There, and if you find yourself over leveraged, lightly leveraged does not mean over leveraged. If you find yourself deleveraging and leveraging, you lower your time preference, pick your spots, and whether that's to deleverage and or increase, but you can't be doing that multiple times a day. That's not how it works. I want to take each and every one with you along the ride. Now, many of you are along the ride. Many of you are positioned in from somewhere around $9,000, $10,000. Many of you, probably the majority of you. But if you bought Bitcoin at $60,000, right? Listen, you're at the halfway point. Let's keep focused and let's get this. All right, everyone. Thank you, Harry. Andre, the man, the myth, Andre, by the way, crushed Tesla in 2020. Andre crushed the Tesla trade in 2020. Not only that, he then pivoted into Bitcoin 2021. Andre, hats off, my friend. Hats off. That amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing stuff. All right, everyone. Thank you, Giles. Thank you so much, Giles. Thank you to each and every one of you. Have a beautiful day. May God bless you, and I'll talk to you soon. That's awesome. Shane, that's so true, Shane. And you also, Shane. Miguel is here, always supporting. Thank you for being the heart of CTM. Miguel, Shane, thank you both for being the heart of CTM. You too, Wes. Thank you so much. JC, Steve Marie, Ali. right, everybody. We came, we saw, we conquered. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon.